Hello Ray, we've got the transmission out of your Chevy two-wheel drive pickup. This is what it looks like when it's all apart. We'll go over some things with you that we found inside it, and Eric or Amanda will contact you with the estimates on the cost of doing the repairs. We'll start with the pan. You can see the material excuse me, in the bottom of the pan. So this is all going to be little pieces of metal here and up here as well. So little piles of metal there, and on top of the magnet you can see there's quite a bit of material on there. So you can see all that material there. That shouldn't be there, so definitely we had metal running throughout the unit. When we look at the clutch plates, the overrun clutch has a little slight discoloration on the friction plate, but the steel plates still look to be in uniform color across. They're very little slippage, but not too bad. Reverse clutch here, same thing. It looks pretty good. The uniform color on the steel plate and on the friction surface. The forward clutch has a little bit of discoloration on the inside edge here, but the steel plates, they do look good, so a little bit of slippage here, but not bad. The reverse input clutch, uniform color here, uniform color on the friction. This one has not been slipping. When we get to the 3/4 clutch, that's a different story. This clutch has been slipping. The lining starts out as a real dark green color, so it's hard to pick up on the camera, but these frictions have been slipping. You can see leopard spotting on the steel plate as well. These are indications of overheating. In the band, this band comes on for second and forward. You see where my thumb is, there's scoring pretty heavily on the band. So the band surface has been damaged, and there's pieces of metal, like right where my thumb is there, you can see a piece of metal that's embedded into the band. That's going to be what our concern was with the pan. In our sprag, if you look at this race, you can see the surface of this race. On the other cap, this is a lot rougher, and there's a bunch of material that's missing, so that's some brass that would have been in the pan at one point. On the pump, camera may not pick it up very well, but where my thumb is here on this slide, it looks like the hardening is wearing off. It's not uniform, and I'm not sure if the camera is going to pick it up, but see where my thumb is, this area here on that black slide behind it. So the area I'm talking about is right in here. So again, I don't think the camera's going to pick it up, so but that slide looks like it's in rough shape. It's gonna get worse and worse. On our rear planetary, on these pinions, there's a little needle sitting up in here, and you can see the pin that goes through the shaft. The gear is supported by the needles, but I can wiggle. You can see how I can wiggle that gear side to side. There's two of the gears that are actually bad. That one's fairly tight, I can barely wiggle in. This one here is probably another okay one. So yeah, I can really almost no movement there. But this will be one of the other bad ones. You'll be able to see the fact that I can wiggle the gear side to side, which is an indication that the needles have worn into that pin. The sun gears have very slight pitting. Front sun gear has a little bit of pitting on it as well, where the gear goes. So this surface down in here where my thumbnail is, there's a little bit of pitting on that surface. It's not too bad, but again, the camera may not pick it up, but right where my thumb is, where my thumbnail is, that's one of the ones that's got some pitting on it, so we should address that. This sun gear shell, it's not that it's damaged right now, but this is not the latest design. They have a design where this area here has been hardened, and the hardened one does not strip out here. This one has the rounded edge here, so the earlier transmissions, they would have this piece become detached from there, but this one's the rounded one, so that part's okay, but they did like to strip where these teeth are, so we should address that by replacing this with the latest one where it's actually hardened on the spines as well. The valve body I was talking to you before about, the valve train that we were talking about for the lockup, is this valve train right in here, and down inside here is one of the valves. We've already bored this, and this area here has the new style valve. So in this passage here, we would only be able to pull around 5 inches of vacuum before, and once we've done the repair, now this area we can pull 23 inches of vacuum. So we know that we've corrected that one problem as well. So this is a speed sensor, just shows more metal that you can see on there. It's got a magnet in there, which is why it attracts the metal. So realistically, the speed sensor is not bad, but just another indication that there's a bunch of metal running through the transmission. So as I said, Eric or Amanda will contact you with the cost estimates, and we'll go from there. Thanks.